Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Hey, what the
Besides,
hell?
please excuse the strokes that just happened on the airwaves. We are back. We are back. We are
Hello.
back. And this time, it's all four of us. You're going to hear this beautiful,
Yay.
crisp audio art for the first time in like freaking 8 months. I'm exaggerating, but Magneto is back, y'all. Round of applause.
You're.
Round of applause. Magneto's back.
Jesus Christ.
My man resurrected as a seal.
For real. My guy.
A seal from New York. yeah.
Magneto was on hiatus due to Hollywood bleeding. He had to go into hiding. But he's back.
Yeah, to soak that in.
He's back. He's back. So,
yo.
guys, welcome one and all. I am Ozymandias, a.k.a. the Brown Steve Jobs next to Steve Austin. Here, joined by the Gostoso from the Lost Borough, Clown Prince. And all the way from Patterson, New Jersey.
Hey.
Senior DC correspondent, CEO of TD Bank, and president of stats for the Boston Celtics, Zoom.
Hello.
And welcoming back. Another round of applause. I'm introing Magneto again.
Nah, he deserves it, y'all. He deserves
The
it.
Gostoso of Purchase.
Purchase.
Magneto is back. How are you doing, my guy? Good Lord.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited.
Also, I fucked up. I should introduce you as Oscar nominee for Extra of the Year.
Man, you did that last time.
Still, that's on your resume. But yeah, you are chilling with villains currently, and we are here to talk about Watchmen, the season finale, and I'm gonna briefly go over the Mandalorian within the next 30 seconds. Basically, the episode is way better than the last two filler episodes. So thank you, Jon Favreau, for that. And we're moving on to Watchmen. So God damn, what an episode!
Yo,
What a series or season.
What a season, my guys.
First and foremost, I just want to thank God for saving Pirate Jenny's life.
Oh my God! All right, bro.
I'm not gonna lie. That was my main concern. Like, I really didn't care who else died in that sequence. Just as long as Pirate Jenny was Gucci, I was Gucci. So, yeah,
You like her?
Pirate Jenny, hell yeah! Shout out Jessica Camacho.
She is.
She is bad. Just say it. Don't hesitate. Just say
She bad.
it. Yeah, she bad. So, I mean, you couldn't tell throughout the series because her face was always covered.
Nah, she bad. I could tell.
You could tell by just her eyes.
Tell from the mask.
Brian has a sense for these things.
He's Bon Wick, bro. I'm telling you. But
nah,
yeah,
let's start breaking it down.
Yeah.
'cause we
Senior
got a lot
DC
to talk
correspondent
about. We got a
Zoom
lot to talk about.
will run us through the docket.
Yes.
This
Yeah, I
very
have,
dense, very
35 points that I made. I had
very-
I beat like all my episodes points previously, like within like the first 20 minutes, I think.
And the episode, it flew by, but it didn't feel like a long episode either, even though it was an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah, just because they kind of got to everything like straight off the bat, like they didn't
Tied
waste
up
time.
all the loose ends.
No time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really jumped into it. So I
They
guess
tied up all the loose ends last episode.
A little bit, except
they
for
did,
Looking
yeah.
Glass. Yeah.
Right. Yo, I'm gonna say something, and it's gonna be a hot take for y'all, but this season kind of sucked for me. Let me explain why before y'all go on a rampage. Let me explain why.
Oh my God.
Like, yo, they made white supremacists the bad guys.
Oh.
I knew he was joking. There's no way he was serious.
When does that exist? Like, why can't they make a show where white supremacy is superior, where it's good? I don't get it. You know? Nah.
Yeah,
This
I think
show,
that really killed it.
I felt the tax.
offended.
I felt the tax.
I felt
Yo,
really
my
offended.
mom was sitting watching me watch it, and she was like, "What is this?" She grabbed her food and she dipped. Like she just left. She was like, "What is this? I'm offended."
Oh,
She
word?
literally sat down when fucking Senator Keene Jr. was like, "And I'll put you down like the black bitch you are," or whatever. I was just like, "Yo." I know a
That was
lot
messed
of
up.
people felt attacked after he said that. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I feel like that, but why is he saying it in the show?" Well, once again, PSA from the Chillin' with Villains podcast. If you feel offended by this show in any way at all, you fuck yourself. Well, let's go on.
You're racist.
But let's go on. Let's go on. Let's start this docket because we got a lot to get.
Yes. I think the episode starts with Lady with a flashback when Adrian Veidt was filming that video that Redford
Yep.
saw. Robert Redford saw on his inauguration day.
Mhm.
So Lady, it starts with that, and Lady True's mom was a cleaning lady there, and she went into his office, and you know,
Ski, ski.
as you do, you have vials of your own sperm behind a portrait of Alexander the Great,
Hey,
Hey,
yo.
for his legacy.
and yeah, and then she injected herself with it and said, "Fuck you, Adrian." Bye.
No, she said,
So
"Fuck
that's
you,
right.
Ozymandias."
Yes, they fuck you
Ozymandias.
Ozymandias,
Oh,
yeah.
and
That's
Zoom
right.
to I guess to bring everything full circle. Remember what he said about his 8 million children? I think he was referring to all the nut behind the
Oh,
fucking
Word, because
behind the
she is
painting.
child 2, 3, 4, 6.
All the nut.
yo, you think he been collecting that shit for a minute, or he just does it
Dude.
like 10 times a day? Either way, God,
Yo,
The
my
fact
guy
that he's
Ozzy
back
was
there,
bussin'.
Nut is the last thing I would expect.
yo, but I kind of want to say, because luckily for me, I have a coworker who watches this shit too, and we were talking about it, and he was like, he kind of, it was before this episode had dropped. Like, I really hope that Adrian didn't have like sex with anyone, and I'm like, why? What do you mean by that? No, oh, he said, I really hope he's not Lady True's dad, and I'm like, why not? He's like, because Adrian's never been that type to like, make love to a woman.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I see. He's like, so if they make that happen, then he feels like, oh, it's really on the nose, and it kind of goes against the way Adrian really is. And then today, when we saw each other, he's like, I love that they did that. That he collected his sperm, and he even said in the episode, he's like, I have never had sex with a woman.
Yeah,
Literally,
he said, "I've
flat out
never
said it.
given myself to a woman," and he's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
"Because it's a distraction."
Yeah, exactly. So and my coworker absolutely loved that. He's like, it was great that they did it that way. And I was like, that's a
Yeah.
valid point. I see where that's coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, like, I was like, I guess I didn't have like a worry because I was like, oh man, like with Ozzy, I guess like how he like I never read the graphic novel, but seeing how Jeremy Irons was portraying him, I was like, I just can't picture him giving himself to anyone.
Yeah, but at
Like,
the
Yeah,
same time,
he's a
I kind
pretty
of
even if it's like a one night thing, like I really couldn't see it. Like
yeah.
it's just he's just not like this is a guy who spends like all of his time in that fucking lab in Antarctica. All of a sudden he's gonna be like, yeah, let me,
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, some insight on that in the graphic novel. Rorschach is actually investigating him, like just checking out what the hell he's up to and all that. And since he knows that Adrian is so self-obsessed, so narcissistic, like so about himself, he's like, is he gay? Like, is he into dudes? Is he like he was like just trying to figure out like where the angle was in terms of his romantic life because like all
Right.
he cared about was him and his work. So
Yep.
I really, really enjoy that Damon Lindelof, like stayed true to the source material, and just kept the ball rolling with how he is. Because if anything, he could probably bag just like Doctor Manhattan can, but also dub Shorty like at the end of the night.
yeah.
Like yo, I
Well,
had a great time, but
especially
I gotta get back to work.
especially the way that I don't know if he's portrayed the same way in the graphic novel, but in the movie, Zack Snyder's film, hashtag release the Snyder cut. He was a pretty boy, he's a pretty boy billionaire. So it's like, you would expect them to have females
Yep.
around him. But
And
yeah,
not
like
once in that
I
whole
said,
movie, like there was any implication of anything.
Exactly.
It was just about him.
Right. So yeah, we can carry on because then we go to it was 2008, right? When Lady True approached.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
Lady
for sure.
True.
And
I was
she definitely used the appeal. She was trying to appeal to his sense for his need for praise.
yeah, exactly. And we discussed or we all discussed this on one of the other podcasts where we said that like he's always like, "Oh, I saved the world and nobody says anything. Nobody
Yep,
thanks me." And that's the first
that's
thing
one of
she
the first
does.
things she said. Yep.
Exactly.
Wait,
And
you guys knew that you guys had a suspicion that he was her dad?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there were hints throughout the season that dropped, especially her admiration for him, somewhat, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
I think I think we like spoke about it a few times.
Yeah, we
Like,
did.
it's just uh it was
We
Shit,
said it.
I'm dense.
Nah, we said it when
when did
remember when
we
she was talking to Angela and
right. This was the first time.
she explained to Angela that that's not my daughter, like that's my mom. She was like feeding her the nostalgia to remember her past life,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Oh, I want my parents to be here when I create my greatest success." And
Oh,
like, "Where's your dad?" And she's like, "Don't worry, he'll be here soon." And then I was just like, "Oh, I think she's
Whoa.
yeah."
he
So
was there already.
right, we'll get to that though.
Yeah,
We will get to that because fuck y'all,
because
I was right.
you're right. You're
Wait,
right.
you guessed that?
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
a
he
way,
called
In
it.
a
yeah.
way. In a way, yeah, he did.
Damn, should have bet money, bro. He would have won.
So
Facts.
that's a fire prediction, but we'll get to that. Uh
That is a fire prediction.
But
so
yeah, I like what you put here, Mark. You put that like she immediately was trying to like get his
Appeal
get
to
his
his need for
praise.
praise. Yeah.
yeah, she wanted to praise him. He
Oh,
like
okay,
he know
okay.
like she knows that he's a fucking narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
Um and um she
Takes
even
one
knew
to
that
know
Dr.
one.
Manhattan exactly, of course. Well, yes. And she even knew that Dr. Manhattan was hiding out on Europa, and like creating the
Yeah,
entire um ecosystem,
but how
like
does she know
all that
that?
stuff.
That's the part that I don't.
She's a
Because
genius.
she sent out
The satellite.
the satellite and she said, "Oh, I got a ping
Oh,
for
that's right, yeah.
his energy signature," and it
Oh,
was
for
on
Dr.
Europa.
Manhattan.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
And
right.
it was his
That's right.
specific, yeah, it was his specific signature, but it was also within that same time frame where
Right.
Dr. Manhattan dipped from Mars, went to Europa. Basically, like it's weird how the timeline I guess is a bit jumbled throughout the
Mhm.
series, but it literally flows perfectly in terms of storytelling because it literally all comes together like
Yeah.
so amazing because when she tells him that she already knows what like her plan is already made up. Like she wasn't really I don't think she was counting on him giving her 40 whatever $billion.
Right. That was her plan
Well,
B in a way, I feel.
no, that was her. I I don't want to say plan. Like I think it was her plan A. She definitely would have taken that money if he gave it to her.
Oh, of course. Yeah, but what
Yeah,
I'm
but I
saying
don't
is
think she
she
like. I don't
But
think
but
she
the
like.
plan B was like, oh, if he doesn't give me the money, I'm just gonna do some like because she got insulted. She was like, oh, okay, I'm not shit. Bet like because like he was treating her like she wasn't shit.
I will never call you daughter.
Then he
Yeah, like
does.
Then he does.
Yo, quick question.
Yes,
When
sir.
we saw the bodies the first time, it
Yeah.
just said "Save me," right?
It says save me D.
Yeah.
D.
And we were all led to believe he was talking about Dr. Manhattan. Like we was gonna spell
Oh,
doctor, but it was really
that's
daughter.
right. That's right.
Right.
Because I remember when they went back and said "Save me, daughter." I was like, wait, what did it say before? It wasn't the whole thing.
But don't you guys like that? Um, I'm sorry to jump around like this, but don't you like that we kind of didn't get the outcome of what he was spelling out?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
because the show kind of tricked
If
us into
right.
like assuming like, oh yeah, he's just like asking Dr. Manhattan for help because they're buddies.
Right. Because they're buddies. And oh, I love that. I can't wait till we get to that part where we talk about them being buddies, just because that was a dope scene. But yeah, we'll get there. Um, but yeah, so going back to the scene between Ozymandias and Lady True, it was just kind of a battle of egos once she revealed to him who she really was. And like 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 we had said, it was it takes a narcissist to know one, and obviously that goes full circle back when Ozymandias gets back on Earth.
Yeah.
But like, man, I just that was the interaction. That was the first time they interacted with one another, and it really didn't disappoint. And so definitely shout out to Jeremy Irons. Like we've been saying throughout all the podcasts we've done, Jeremy Irons each episode, and also Hung Chao or Hung Cho, like she did an incredible job with this role.
Yeah, she really
smoked
killed it.
Smoked it.
Yeah,
I think honestly everyone who's like all the main characters like killed it. Like,
Dude, even Looking Glass was dope.
oh my,
Fire.
he was like one of my favorite characters.
Wait, before I forget, they never explained the guy with the fucking the suit that would slid into the sewer.
Yes, they did. It is on PDpedia. It is suspected that it is Agent PD, that is Lube Man. He is no longer in the FBI.
Oh my
I
god!
swear, I'm gonna send it to you guys after the podcast.
Can it please be Petey?
Yeah,
Can can that actor go on Instagram and like be like, yeah, guys, it was me.
it is.
Yeah, he's
he's
tall and
so great.
skinny, so it
But-
makes
He's
sense.
tall and skinny. It could totally
Yeah.
be him.
So for those that don't know, go on PDpedia. It should be on either I think HBO's official website. And it gives you like different things that goes on the side that it was just too. It's not to say that it was irrelevant, but just things that didn't really fit the script that they kind of add to just
It
have
was-
fun.
Yeah. It wasn't worth going into really in the finale.
Right, exactly. So, but yes, the letter said something of sorts that Agent PD is no longer an agent of the Federal Bureau, and he is currently being investigated for being like Lube Man or whatever.
That is
Oh my
fucking
God.
hilarious.
Sick.
That is really funny. That is dope.
What was
So
they doing? Fucking just taking pictures of her. That's mad random, bro.
I mean,
I
he's a
think that was
huge
the
fan
only
of like,
unanswered.
or not a huge fan, but he does like he likes the research of like he's
Yeah,
like very
he's like-
interested.
yeah,
in all that
exactly.
yeah, he's big on vigilantes, right?
Exactly.
He's
He's
big on
like
that
all
shit,
about
so.
this.
That 100% is him. I'm looking at pictures right now.
But yeah, so
Going forward,
on
right?
going forward. So Lady True basically exerts her plan, and now for the first time in the show, we see that we
She's
get
the villain.
yeah, she's
Wait,
I guess
can we
the
can we
second.
just take a second here?
What's up?
Just like when is in Antarctica in 2008, she told him in 5 years or whatever time, however many years, there will be a satellite that'll go to that moon in Europa and it'll take a picture, and I'll be getting a picture of Dr. Manhattan. And Ozymandias remembered that.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And for when he was setting up all those bodies or whatever, and he literally like set that whole thing up. Like that's
Well,
what
I
his
mean,
end game was. That sign. Like that's
basically-
crazy.
Smartest
That
comic
whole
book
thing was
character.
like a fucking game that he set up. Like in the end, you realize like he
Yeah.
did that for fun.
He was just that bored. In order for him to not go insane, he had to play around with these clones. And two things I want to mention.
That's the
Remember?
play.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
That was the play that he was
said
writing.
he was writing.
And also, when he killed the game warden, the game warden
Oh,
was like,
God.
was I a worthy adversary? He's like, nah, like this shit was ass.
He's like, but you put on
No,
a hell of a
he's-
show.
You
Yo,
put on
but
one hell of a
so
show,
he-
yeah.
He said also, which is like
He said that
kind
after
of
he died too. That's what's fucked up. He died hearing him say no.
Like, nah, bitch. Yeah, what were we gonna say, Mark?
like a great quote there was like, he said, why did you make me wear a mask? And he said, masks make men cruel. I was like, wow.
And he also
Yeah.
I was
said,
like-
like, is that what you wanted to be? Is that what you wanted me to be, Master? Like, you wanted me to be cruel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
wow.
again, you kind of see Ozymandias playing like in his mind, he believes he's the good guy. He believes that he's the
He's
one
the
that
hero, yeah. That should be
right,
praised.
exactly. And in a weird way, dude, like the graphic novel and even this series, whether he was there on Earth or not, he in a way was the protagonist of everything in a weird sense. Like obviously not taking away from Angela's storyline because we know she was the main protagonist. But at the end of the day, who saved the day again? It was him.
Ozymandias, yep.
Yep.
So
He's the one who
it's
started it,
yeah.
and he's the one who
And
helped
it's
finish
funny
it.
too because it's like if he's calling somebody a narcissist and says, "Yo, we got to stop this fucking crazy person," then that means there's a big problem.
right. And he
Like,
said it. He's like, it takes one to
yeah,
know. He knows he's
yeah,
a narcissist.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and she's worse than him. Like, and that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
he literally said, if anybody is trying to be a god, those are the people that cannot be gods.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, like
she
it's
dead
so
now.
true.
So
She is dead now.
I also love in the during like when the warden shows up and he's like, "Don't make me do this," and he's like, whatever, like do it, go for it. And I fucking love how they
Did he
again.
catch that bullet?
Yes,
Oh,
he does
yeah.
that. He does that in the graphic novel, and you see that play out in Zack Snyder's film as well. Release the Snyder cut, and
Hey,
I
I
love
forgot
how
he does that.
he does that again, and it's kind of like, and he looks at the bullet like, oh, I still got it, like.
yeah. I'm still hip.
But I want
I'm still here.
I'm still hip.
yo,
Jesus.
I'm still
dead.
hip.
He still has it.
But what was I wonder if he put like because it was his story that he was writing, if it was an actual real bullet anyways. That's kind of my question because what if he didn't catch that shit? Did he just fucking kill
Nah,
himself?
bro, he catches
I mean,
bullets.
yeah.
Like he's that kind of dude.
Nah,
He's
that's
nice,
facts.
bro.
But it's like, what if that was like that? When it's like, oh, 9 out of 10 times he catches it. What if that was that one time he doesn't? And he fucking like, oh shit, I just fucking died here on Europa. Like that fucking sucks.
I don't know. I mean, you saw the bullet though. I mean, like it's not like he.
Nah, you know what? This detracts from the whole episode. Show is trash. White supremacy all day.
Yo,
Oh my
God.
whoa.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so let's move on to the prediction done by Clown Prince. I think we should have a
Yeah.
round of applause for him.
Oh yeah, I got you right
'cause
now.
I
Junior,
did not
what
see
gave
this.
it away?
Yo,
I did
The
not see
fact
this.
that he was old?
I didn't see this predicted by anybody. I'll just say it. Ozymandias is the fucking statue.
Nah, but like
Absolutely wild.
To be fair, I said that like you like because
Europa is in the statue.
right. That's what I had
So
said.
technically, whatever. But I mean, still,
I get
weird
partial credit.
technicalities.
It was a short
At the
answer.
end
I
of
get
the
partial
day,
credit.
at the end of the day, Adrian was in the statue, so we good.
If it was multiple choice, I would have got it wrong. But it was a short answer question, so I got
Word.
partial credit.
You got
If you're,
partial credit,
if you're
which is so
rewatching
good.
now, what gave it away was like when
His expression, right?
no, Agent
Yeah.
Blake is asked like why is he old? Or I think it was Abar.
Oh yeah.
No, it was Blake. She was
was
like,
Blake.
he's
It was
old
Blake.
as
It was
fuck.
Blake. Lady True was like,
Why'd you
yeah,
keep
like
him
we
old?
revere
Our elders,
our elders, yeah.
Good answer.
right?
And
He was only there for
so
like 4 days, right?
he was there
Yeah,
from
I think the way their timeline was, it was by days, I believe, because remember when her grandpa was like, oh, she's gonna hate me in 3 days whenever this happens. So yeah, you're right.
yeah.
You're right, Brian. It was probably like
he
4 to 5 days.
he was there ever since he crashed at that family's farmhouse.
Oh, it was in a podcast. You know that little light that Blake saw? That was him arriving.
What little light?
the little light, and then the car came and the car was thrown in front of her.
No, that was
Oh no,
No, that was a
when-
thermodynamic
no
miracle.
the one when she went to the farmhouse, like that
Yes.
couple, and like Lady True and was
That
like,
happened
"Oh,
at the
I'm
same
gonna give you
time.
this kid. You know, I'm gonna give you this kid if you give me your land right
Yeah,
now."
yeah.
she bought the land. Yeah, she timed it perfectly.
Yeah,
That's
she
right.
timed it
That's the
perfectly
one.
because
Wow, that's what Ozymandias landed. That's great.
exactly like
Yeah,
the same
that
time
was said
that
in the
he landed,
podcast.
the same time that he landed from Europa, that car crashed down in front
Was-
of Blake. Remember when she was on the
Mhm.
phone, like telling Dr. Manhattan, like, yo, like telling him the longest joke on earth?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was
the longest joke on earth.
That was Angela's car, though.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, just making sure.
But
Yeah, but and also just for the audience, the podcast that Ryan keeps or Magneto keeps mentioning is the official Watchmen podcast.
You gave them the clout that they already have.
I know. I just
They're
don't
not
want them
gonna
to be
shout us
confused.
out.
Where Yo, imagine just listening to that and they're like, yo, shout out the Chillin' with Villains
yo,
podcast.
yeah, Damon Lindelof
They
is like,
They thought we weren't going to do it, but we are. And then so yeah, moving on. So
so yeah, he predicted that he.
well, actually, when he first landed, it seemed like, or at least when he first, like, you know, became de-statuified, she seemed like she was very, like, there was definitely like a shift in her attitude, like from, I guess, from 2008 to present day. And obviously, yeah, like everyone changes with time, but she was like very cold, I felt like, and more like, hey, bitch, like, look what I did. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
because I think the
like,
reason
I proved
behind
you
that.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Well-
because it was more of a kind of, again, it was ego driving her, so like to try to
Right.
prove her father that
Well,
She was,
and also
she was also
she
super confident
yeah.
in herself. Like, she knew she was like, I got this shit. I'm about to be Dr. Manhattan, whatever.
Well, she even said it in the episode where she was like, when they first started talking again, her and Ozymandias, when they finally, you know, destatued him, she was like, "Oh, I thought you said you would never call me daughter. I guess I got the best of your ego." So,
Right.
and in a weird way, I feel like Ozymandias, you know, he did put his ego aside just so he can get back home, in a way, in a weird way, still outsmarting her, still outbeating her by saying
Yeah.
daughter. He's like,
Yeah,
you know what?
because-
I'm gonna play your game for
I'll
now.
just say it so you can just bring me home.
Exactly. It was all for personal gain anyway.
Like, stupid. You would have thought you was my daughter. You would have thought.
Who said the end? Obviously Ozymandias said the end is nigh.
Yeah.
Wild.
That was
That was
obviously
cool.
that was
I love
basically the
that
sign that
interaction with the
Rorschach.
newspaper guy.
Yeah. It was also
That was
very
cool.
meta what he said. Very meta what the newspaper guy said to him when he was like, "Sir," he was like, "Sir, what happened to him?" Like, and then the newspaper guy was like, "Oh, some say that he walked into a jungle." And that's mad meta because basically Lady True recreated Vietnam, at least the you know, I guess the jungle aspect, that atmosphere in that greenhouse part of her
Okay.
of her lair. Like, that was pretty cool that, like, he's literally in there.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, definitely.
I think that was pretty cool
Yeah, that's dope.
that he said that. But yeah, like, Ozymandias here is, once again, he, like, I feel like when, I don't know how you guys felt like when he showed up, like, I didn't necessarily get the team up vibes, but I was expecting some kind of solution to what was going on. But seeing how they were moving forward with everything, Ozymandias was just basically just observing. Like, he was just like, all right, like, I'm just here, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see what's
I
going
mean,
on.
I think in a weird way, he also was just like, he's been gone from civilization for so long. And at that point in time, I think he knew obviously she was crazy, but he just kind of, again, it seemed like he didn't really care whether they were gonna die or not because he was just like kind of following along. He was like, I want to see how this is gonna play out,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
mean, he
And
only did something because Dr. Manhattan
exactly.
teleported him,
Yeah.
Yep.
which I saw coming a mile away. As soon as the blood came into the cage, I was like,
I can't
he
wait to
going,
talk about that nasty ass shit.
yeah.
But
Nah, but yeah, after we start seeing like what happens when we regroup with Agent Blake and we see like why she was tied up and all that, and we start seeing all these important people walk into where the Seventh Cavalry is holed up at,
Yeah.
and then
Looking Glass is undercover.
Looking
List.
Glass, our boy, our guy.
Yo,
That was
our
a dope
I've
way
guy.
to
been
come back.
waiting.
Yeah, he was
Yeah, I
like,
know.
don't look
He was-
back. She looks back. He like, did not
What
say
did I
not to look
say?
back.
Is
If
that
I'm so
Mirror guy?
cold.
Looking Glass.
And
But
what do you guys think that he was there to get?
there to get?
Yeah, because
was
he
there
said
to
I'm
just
here for
stop them.
something.
Yeah, he was just there
Yeah,
to
nope.
try to
But
put
he
a stop.
said, "I forgot something, so I came back." Or do you think that was like something like, oh, like a funny joke he
I
made
think
or
they took
something?
his mask.
Ooh.
Probably. That's why he's wearing that. But I mean, he's undercover though, so
Yeah, but
he would have to wear that.
but I just think it's really like I see in the next point here, point 16 here, the whole villain speech by Senator Keene. I was
Oh
just
yeah, very meta.
it was extremely meta, and not just that, it was also it didn't come off as cheesy because it was a satirical moment in the episode. It's like he's basically poking fun at America right now, like
Yeah.
Yep.
with what's going on and all that. Like
Yeah.
like they
I
took
mean,
away our guns. They
Lindelof
They made us
said
say
himself.
sorry.
for people who died before we were even born and stuff, like, and they
Yeah.
made us be ashamed of the color of our skin and stuff. I'm just like, nigga, shut the fuck up. Like,
It's like
what are you talking about?
it's like what are you yeah, literally it's like you're not being ashamed. It's just you have to accept the fact that slavery, was a fucking thing and that it happened. And then, like and racism is still around today. Like it's not that hard. It's really not
But
that
again,
hard.
I know a lot of people were triggered by Senator Keene's speech and how real it was and how it was pretty, pretty
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
a
reminiscent.
Shout
lot of
out.
people say like, "Oh, the show's too political," and it's funny too because Damien Lindelof mentioned it on the official Watchmen podcast too.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, but if it's like it's skipping all the way down to my last point. It's like, don't you think that we should maybe think about it and how we can all do like a little bit to help fix it? Like, if you think this is political, a guy talking about white supremacy, it's like, oh, it's too political. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be political.
Yeah.
It should be. It should be
This is wrong. Like
this. Yeah, exactly. There's no politics here. There's no
Right.
politics. It's right and wrong.
Very, yeah.
And even
That's
even
it.
Lindelof himself understood that though, because he was like, he expressed it on the podcast. He was like, I am a liberal. Like he had,
Yeah.
he said, I am a liberal,
yeah.
but he's like, he's writing this story, but he's also like, I need to find a way where it's not too liberal of a story, which it wasn't. Like I
Exactly.
never
Yeah.
Exactly.
once felt watching this, I was like, oh, it's just right on the nose, like this
I
and
didn't,
that. They're
I
trying to.
didn't feel like I was
It's
pandered
not.
to at all. Like I
Yeah,
didn't feel
Right.
it's like there's a point where it's like there's meta, which what we all love, but then there's on the nose where it can be a little too much.
yeah.
This show stayed in that meta phase, bro. Like it stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
and that's what made it so, like
And
these moments
it's
so
like
great.
people can't get mad at shit that went down in history. Like these are true facts. Like the shit that went down in Tulsa, Oklahoma, of that massacre of African Americans.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. It's not like, oh, this is too political. No, this is history. This is like, learn your history. This is in the history books. So it's just, to me, it's just still mind-boggling that people just can't understand that. People just, I'm gonna take a piece from Batman vs Superman. People just hate what they don't understand.
Mm.
and it still it holds true. Hashtag release Snyder cut. It holds true.
Brian.
It just holds true just because it people get offended about stuff that happened throughout time, and it's like, why? This is what happened. These are the facts.
Yeah.
It's like I
Yep.
can see that, okay, because I'm the same skin tone as this person, and but if you're not a white supremacist, you don't have to be offended. You're not these people. Like, these are
Exactly.
people that are categorized because of their terrorist actions. If you're just a regular white person who, is a stable human being and works for a
ally.
living and
An ally.
an ally and has a family, you shouldn't be offended. Like, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to grasp that concept. But I guess
Speak
for
on
some
it,
people,
King.
it
Drop a
is.
bomb on that.
Yo,
God
true, though.
damn.
I'm a preach to the choir. Ah,
Nah, but I think that I like how it, like, again, like Senator Keen's like that bullshit speech that he gave and all that, and everybody nodding their heads and stuff, and the fact that they kind of replicated a church to clearly implicate that he's preaching to the choir,
yeah,
like, literally.
that's yo. Obviously, don't like his speech and that whole reunion wasn't anything good or something to be proud of, but just the concept of what you just said, like, how dope is that
Yeah.
Lindelof incorporated something like that,
Yeah.
like from a TV perspective, from a visual perspective.
Well, I
I've-
mean, did you see when she was about to become like Dr. Manhattan, Lady True?
Uh-huh.
You could see Jesus in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used
they're
that
like-
side by side to show that, like, she was trying to, like, be the new savior of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She like the whole like that's what he is. Like that's what he is. Dr. Manhattan is supposed to like represent, like
Ooh.
God.
And I
No,
cannot
not
like
just
wait.
that, not just that, like what people expect him to be as well.
Right. That
right.
and
That's
that
more.
ties
That's a
back
more
in-
accurate point. That's a more accurate point.
Yeah.
That ties back into
How people view him rather than what he actually is.
Exactly.
and
Well,
that.
Will Reeve said.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Back
real,
into what Will Reeve says at the end, which we'll get
Yeah.
to. But I just want to shout out James Wolk, who plays Senator Joe Keane, because the fact that an actor can make you look at your, we're looking at his character and like, this guy's just such a douchebag.
What a piece of shit. Yeah.
Right.
shit.
And so he killed, like we consistently say, every character just killed their roles in
Hell yeah.
every way, shape, or form. And that's just awesome to see.
So moving on now to, like, after he does his speech and all that, preaching to the choir, and we
Yes.
now see John who gets transported there,
Right.
and the cage that he's in is made out of lithium ion whatever. Basically,
Thank God, because I was like,
Basically,
I
his
was like, yo,
kryptonite.
yeah,
Yeah, like-
because I didn't know about the kryptonite situation, so I'm like sitting there like, don't tell me they're just gonna have this dude sit in a cage and be powerless when he can actually break the hell out.
no,
What's
and I
going
like
on
and I
here?
like how they keep
And then
how they keep the whole watch theme of everything. Like, watches played a huge role because they use the fucking batteries of watches to keep this guy enclosed in this cage here.
Right.
Yeah,
And guess who the batteries are by? Lady True. Congratulations. You played yourself.
Damn, I don't have that
who-
soundbite.
Who called it out? They're like, yo, y'all are Ed. Like, she's been playing
Angela.
that this whole time.
Angela.
Angela.
Oh yeah.
y'all are edge.
And then,
Oh,
and
and
they didn't want
also-
to believe it. Senator King was like, nah. Like, she ain't
He was
played
like,
me.
"Nah."
She
And
don't
then
play
the
me.
ultimate pause moment when fucking Senator Keene was
I'm
like,
gonna melt him down and I'm gonna drink him up.
drink him.
Hey,
I'm a-
yo.
Wow.
I was like, oh boy.
Imagine, like, after he said that, he would have been like, pause.
Pause.
Or Looking Glass would have been like, I would
in the,
pause
su- in,
that.
the, in the southern twang.
Nah, Cal is just in the cage. He's like, yo, pause that, my guy.
Yeah.
No,
he,
I'll
he,
skip
start, he,
with
starts
my
spe- he starts speaking like how Yaya would.
Word. Pause.
Oh,
No,
he-
pause.
And then he looks at all the white supremacists like, yo, you're not gonna back me up. They're like, nah, you gotta pause that, my guy. That's
Like, yeah.
That's
Time
OG,
out.
like,
Everybody
Yo.
breaks character. It would have been funny. It would
Right.
have been funny if Dr. Manhattan would have been like, you could pause that,
Wait.
you know.
You can pause that.
Dude, it even came down to like Dr. Manhattan now being black. And like they were like that's crazy how they just switched him from like he stayed in Cal's body.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's the
That's more
shell
of
that
like
he took up.
I know, but I'm just saying like the white supremacists wanted to take his power and he was black.
Ooh.
Like I literally just realized
Drop
that.
a bomb on that one.
Drop the bomb on that one. A hydrogen
Cultural
bomb at that.
appropriation, right?
Yeah.
That actually is pretty
Another
dope that they
meta
did that.
another meta point.
Imagine when like the blue energy came off him and they see the black guy and they're like, oh, but they were dead at this point already. That's
Oh,
why.
yeah,
They were dead. They would have been like, wait a minute.
They
What
would have
the
been like,
hell?
hold on now.
Hold on now.
Pause that.
Whoa.
Pause that.
You know, they do the Kawhi meme. They're like, hey. Like, hey, what the fuck is going on?
You could
Yes.
tell he was black though. You know why?
Why?
Because he got that shalom.
Oh no.
Hey,
I knew that was
yo.
Yeah.
Hey,
Alright,
yo,
Commercial
that-
break.
commercial break. go to commercial.
Guys, we're gonna be right back, all right?
Do me a favor, please.
Yeah.
Go to commercial.
And we back.
We back.
All right, cool. So
Next point.
we just got to talk about how stupid Senator Keene is.
Yeah.
Like Lady
Bum
True.
ass.
Wait, can we no wait. Can we talk about how they realized how they found out he was Dr. Manhattan?
Yes. The white
'Cause
supremacist.
the guy into New Mexico and he called him.
That's
He's
where
like,
he's
hold
from.
up. And then that's when when Crawford and the girl, his wife, started becoming friends with them.
Yo, and
But
that's
how
crazy too.
crazy is that?
That's crazy how
They
they
tied
fake.
everything.
They
I think-
fake that friendship the whole time.
That's
I
fucking
know.
Like
crazy,
they
right?
fake it just to get close to him. Just to get close to him.
That's fucking
Yeah.
nuts, dude.
I'm pretty sure that I called the Dr. Manhattan that on the White Knight. That's how the white supremacists knew who he was. Pretty sure I called that. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna take
but-
credit for that.
I will give you that credit, but there's one bad part about your point that you made, Mark.
Oh shit.
What?
It was off the air.
Oh, it was off
Because-
the air.
Yes, because
Fuck.
someone Steal Her Eyes made that comment. Like he DM'd us, and I was like, oh yeah, I think Zoom made that comment in our latest podcast. He's like, nah, you guys touched upon something else closer, but y'all didn't actually mention that. And I was like, bro, I know for a fact
Damn.
you're there. Yeah, man.
Yo,
I'm
I
sorry.
appreciate you saying that though.
Yeah, I remember you said that, but I was
Nah, you
like,
did say
wait,
that.
it might have been off air, yeah.
Yeah, because I think we were talking
It was
about
so tight tonight, like fuck, like
no, but we
Yo,
were
I'm-
talking
I'm-
about.
Yeah, I'm not talking for the rest of the podcast.
Yo, Godspeed, bro. Be
that's
well.
the word.
No, but I remember Zoom mentioning that, like, oh, like, how the hell did she survive that? She was literally about to get clapped. And, like, where the hell was Calvin? Like, and all that. So, like,
Yeah.
that explains it right there. And even Ozymandias, again, on the nose, saying, like, his powers will only come out
when necessary.
Instinct.
when life,
yeah.
like, an instinct and stuff. So,
And you know what I love? Well, I remember we were all talking. We're like, "Yo, Cal's mad pussy. Like, how he just get hit and fall and not do anything after that? Like, he just ran
Yeah.
away."
Man teleported a dude across the fucking country.
Yo, Yaya's probably watching that, looking at the comments, like, bet, all right, cool.
Y'all want me to
ain't
come on your podcast?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Now he's like, "Yeah, I ain't seen nothing yet." But so yeah, we can talk about how smart that the cavalry was on that aspect. But when it comes to that science shit, they're clearly dumb because when
Dumbasses.
Lady True transported them to her, her location where she was gonna do everything, and then she was like, "Oh, is Senator Keenan there? Oh,
No.
let's let him out, shall we?" And she was like,
She
"Oh,
was sarcastic as fuck.
word." She was like, "Wait, homeboy was in." Oh, okay. Open wheel. When I saw that fucking.
You got some Campbell's Keen soup that came out of there.
Oh no no
Oh
no!
god.
And I really like how Blake, Agent
Was like
Blake
stomping on
stomped on his heart. She was like, "Fuck out of here, bum ass."
word. I was
Yo,
happy as hell when that happened.
No, and
yo, back
I also
back to the
like
hand
how they
was like,
sent him out like they didn't kill him like in the head, like he didn't have to like he wasn't on his
Yeah.
knees or something. You know what I'm saying? Like he just got destroyed, like just turned into
Same thing with all the other ones.
yeah. They just got
The other White Force
evaporated.
leaders.
yo,
Yep.
and speaking of that, I just love how Judge Crawford's wife
Oh
had
yeah.
kind of that same moment that Lori did, where she was like,
Yeah.
"Save the fucking speech," like,
Let's go. Come
yeah,
on.
she was like,
Yeah.
"You're gonna do it. You're gonna kill us, so just fucking kill us." I was like, "Yo,
Yeah, but she was mad buns when she realized that was really gonna happen. So
yeah, she was talking all that talk, and then later she was like, "Yeah, you're right. Let me just stop talking and let me
No,
kill you."
no. I like to think that the other white supremacists around her were like, yo, chill. She might
They were
change her
like,
mind. Calm down.
They're like, "You bugging, my guy. You
You
bugging."
bugging. I'm not with her. We just met.
They're like, "Yo, she
This is her.
paid us to be here."
This is her first meeting.
Worse, she was like, "Yo,
She
paid
doesn't
us.
speak for all of us.
What you mean? I got a cousin who goes out with a black girl. Like, what are you talking about?" I was
How can I be racist? I have so
I-
many black friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Check my Facebook. Look at my friends list. Like, they're there.
but yeah, after Keen's his soup falls out,
Demise. Oh,
uh
God.
John realizes that the blood got into the cage and he uses that to teleport Looking Glass, Agent Blake, and Ozymandias back to his lair in Antarctica.
But
Yeah,
question:
Ozymandias is
if
hilarious. Yeah,
if he didn't have his powers, how was he able to do that? Or was it just kind of
he
negating?
he can use the, I guess, anything that's more like a liquid like that. Maybe that's like a different
No, it's because it was outside of the cage.
Yeah, I was
when he
I was
touches
just
it,
the
it
thinking
got
liquid.
connected.
It leaked from in. Well, it went from outside to inside. So he touched on the inside, and then it.
it affected on the outside.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
He was able to get to
So I guess the thing contains it inside the cage.
Right.
But when whatever he's touching is connected, I guess more
yeah,
so
but
to the
remember
outside.
also what he was telling Angela
Who?
when he first met her. He said that he can transfer his power into any bioorganism. Like
Yes,
And blood is
which also goes back to something we're going to talk about a little later
yeah, but
because that's crazy.
so he transports them, and then we get a pretty fucked up moment where like Angela's still there alone, and everybody gets transported, and then she's like, "John, like, where are you?" And I really like how basically he's not in the present anymore. Like he says it, like he's just like I guess
He's everywhere at once.
exactly. He's everywhere at once, and then he's saying like, "Oh, I don't see." I guess he's in the Pentagon when he says like, "I don't see any threats in Afghanistan currently," or something like. I'm assuming that's why he said that.
Nah, but when he said he's everywhere at once, he meant like he's everywhere at once
With her, yeah.
That's when he realized he was gonna die.
Yo, man, that's sad, bro. You see tears in that dude's eyes. Like he literally has human still in him.
Question for you guys. Because the same coworker that I brought up earlier, he asked me this question and I found it intriguing, and I kind of explained it in a way that I felt, but I want to hear your guys' opinion on this. How, because for Ariel, especially you read the graphic novel, or for us that saw the Zack Snyder movie, #release Snyder Cut. We see his relationship with Silk Spectre, right? With Lori, and we see how he's very like vague with her. He's not into it, like
He wasn't even trying to bang her at one point.
right. He was like, I mean, I can, but I'm also gonna be over there doing work and then somewhere else too. But my main focus, my energy, my vibes aren't with you. Right. But he met her.
My vibes aren't with you.
He met her. He spent time with her, And so what you guys think when he approached Angela at that bar that night? What made him fall in love? Because I understand time is relative to him. So while he was experiencing that night at the bar as well, he was probably also experiencing his death as well and experiencing a bunch of other things. So let me get your opinion on that. What do you guys think made him fall in love with her the way he couldn't fall in love with Lori?
Who want to go first?
You go first.
Once you go black, you never go back.
Oh God.
Yo, what the fuck?
Get this guy a map.
Nah, but like I think he just I don't know, man. It just happens. Like in the podcast they were saying like he just lets things happen because I don't know. It's too complicated.
Multiverse. I don't know. It's tough. I mean,
I feel like Ariel about to hit us with the
yeah,
fact.
he wants to go last. He's like, yo,
It was just waiting.
yeah, he has his answer written out right now.
Yeah, I got my index card right in front of me.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
All right. So the reason I think the way he was with past women, he was only with two other women besides Angela.
Right.
And I forgot her name, but the lady that he was with first when he first became Dr. Manhattan, and he knew how that was gonna end up. She ended up dying of cancer because of his radiation and all that.
But didn't they blame it on him? But it wasn't him.
Oh yeah, you're right. So they blamed it on him, but it wasn't him. It was really Ozymandias who was letting cancer basically he was basically infecting cancer into people who directly interacted with Dr. Manhattan, with John. And
so
then
they could think it's him.
Yeah. So they set him up like that to already like make him look like the bad guy. So I think he also saw again, he perceived that coming. He knew how that was gonna end. Same deal with Lori. He knew that with Lori, he had to kind of show her how he is and stuff. Same way with Angela, but in a more blunt manner. He told like he's always telling her like you're gonna leave disappointed. You're gonna like your mind travels to dark places, which is why I keep certain things from you. Like you can't handle the truth of what I am and how I perceive time and stuff. So Lori fell deeper in love with him. Like again, like his vibes didn't match hers. Like he wasn't really fucking with her. What intrigued him about Angela was that there was a point in his future that went dark. And he knew that it went dark because he was dealing with her. So I feel that the reason he went to Angela is because when he saw nothing in his near future, he was like, all right, I think I need to, I guess in terms of like investigate this and like sit down. That's why he sat down with her and courted her and was like, I can't explain why I love you, but I'm telling you right now that I am madly in love with you in the near future. He's saying a year for 6 months from now, like, we're going to have this big fight. You're going to tell me to leave. I come back. Like, we work it out. I propose to you. We get married. We have 3 children, all this stuff. Like, that was more concrete. And also, I feel like he foresaw something greater for her. And knowing that he was the catalyst for that, I think that's what made him like kind of even more drawn and connected to her. So
because
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
The moment where he told Angela, like in the episode before, that he loved her, was when she was getting ready to defend him, and I feel, at least from my knowledge, like his ex, like before the accident, she blamed him. She's like, "You gave me this cancer." She didn't stick by him. Lori didn't stick by him. She was like, you know what? Your energy's somewhere else. So I'm gonna go be with Night Owl. And Angela was the only one that was like, yo, nah, we gonna fight this. We gonna like, I'm gonna ride with you.
Right.
So I feel like that also as well. He was just like, damn, like no matter what I tell her, like I'm all powerful, I'm all knowing.
Exactly.
And no matter what I tell her that something's gonna happen, she just
and also remember when Lori got with him, she was also way younger than him. Like she was like
16, right?
No way, yo.
Nah,
they met. They met when she was 16.
They met when she was 16. Okay,
sorry. But like a couple years later, they got together and stuff in the graphic novel, and obviously in the film they made her look a lot older. So that's not like a pause moment or anything. But But I think that since Lori was also much more immature and she again like, but also you're dealing with a fucking god, so it's kind of like, well, how much patience you expect?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I think Clown Prince, I think you're dead on, just because like the um like imagine like you're talking to a god and they literally tell you, I'm going to die, there's nothing you can do, whatever. Like,
I mean, he says it ends tragically. You never say you're gonna die.
no, he's well, I think he said it like once he woke up out of the once he once she returned him to normal.
I can't
I
remember.
think he might have said it. Well, either way, it's very ominous.
Yeah, we never
And
know for sure, like what he was really
yeah,
thinking there.
and him just being like, oh, like, or her just being like, you know what, fuck this, like, no, like, we're gonna keep doing it, we're gonna fight anyway. I think, and he said, you know, that was the moment that made me fall in love with you.
Yeah,
And like
because that's the thing that like the director was saying. He was like, he doesn't like experience it. Like he knows that he's in love with her, but he didn't experience it yet. So that's why when he did experience it, he was like, "This is the moment," and then he
the
realized
writer,
it.
Right.
Yeah,
yes,
my ass.
just trying to make sure people aren't
What the fuck?
confused, bro.
But let's move on now. What's
Yeah.
next?
Well, Mario, you've been saying this probably since episode 2 or 3 that we were gonna see a team up, and we sure did. This felt so like Looking Glass basically took Rorschach's spot. It was Ozymandias,
Oh yeah.
Lori Blake, Silk Spectre, and Looking Glass when they got transported to Ozymandias's his lab. And of course, being the genius that he is, he freaking lowers the temperature for the squids. So when they go flying down, they're deadly, deadly squids. And I just love that scene too, where he was just like, huh, like she thought my squids weren't shit. She about to find out. About to find out about my squids. She's like, oh, you think that's some shit from the past? Nah, girl, I'm about to fuck you up. And so that I just love that scene between the three of them and kind of how Looking Glass was also to Lori. He's like, oh, you knew too? Like he's like, yo, does the whole FBI know? Like everyone fucking knows that this whole shit was a scam of the giant squid in 1985.
Yeah.
So I like how they brushed on that. What I didn't like, but it was kind of like whatever. They never really touched upon how like Lori and Dr. Manhattan didn't have a moment to themselves. I thought they would, especially after she's been like calling to the Manhattan phone booths and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I think
But
I was fine with that. You know why? Because I think it would have been too much of a whole like novella. You know what I'm saying? Like
right,
it would have
yeah, I
been
get
too
it.
much of like a messy love triangle thing, and like
Yeah,
I
I don't
was
think he even realized she was there too, because he was all fucked up while he was in that
yeah
cage.
like he
yeah,
and it's
I
also
mean,
been
they
so
they
damn
showed her
long.
reaction,
Yeah,
right.
and that's it.
Yeah, he was like, I don't want to die alone. Damn.
that was
Yeah,
sad. That was
yeah,
mad
that
sad,
was
especially with
And
the
that
tears in
hit
his
then
me,
eyes and all that. Yo, Yahya Abdul Mateen
killed
the second.
it,
Applause to you, dude. That shit was lit, my guy.
killed it.
Yep.
Black Manta out here.
But
And
yeah, what's
So yeah,
next?
that,
Lady True gets clapped when that whole shit falls on her.
yeah, and then like we
Um,
said, you know, Vite kind of realizes that his daughter is like worse than him,
And it's
yeah,
also
and then he's
ironic.
like, yeah, this is a problem.
It's also ironic that he killed his daughter. I guess like he's always Ozymandias is always very proud of what he creates, because
yeah,
he even
Yeah, that's
quotes
actually true. Yeah.
like
Well, technically,
something that he quotes in the film and the graphic novel. He quotes from Mary Sher. I don't know who the author was. I keep forgetting, but he quoted, "Look upon my works, Almighty in despair." Like look what I've created. Like everybody praise
Mhm.
me, and then like
Yeah,
he has
but
this
this
offspring of a
I,
genius, and he's like, nah, I got to destroy this.
I think he views her as kind of like a knockoff,
that's
Exactly.
his. Yeah,
like
exactly.
Yeah.
because
That's his.
like
That's his. What's it called? Frankenstein. Like, you know, because he even though he created it, it was
not by
what
choice, and it wasn't.
right
It was like
exactly.
somebody else's.
It was
Somebody else took.
distorted.
Yeah,
His creation was distorted,
exactly.
and he was like, "Yo, fuck that. It's not mine. Not anymore."
Not it never was. That's what his thing was. Is I never chose to create you, like it was never a creation. I feel like in the beginning for him, it was more just like somebody took my sperm and you know what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
it wasn't like so. Yeah, I think he kind of viewed her as a knockoff, which kind of and like oh, first of all, wait, those squids, I did not know they were like that bad, like
What
or
do you
they
mean?
could be that bad, like
Yeah, I'm
that
sure.
that deadly. That shit
Not,
went
no,
right through her hand.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
because he
Uh,
uses again he uses the same kind of teleportation technology that Dr. Mahan does. So what he does is he explained it like again they gave us some exposition as to how this works. But again, with science behind it, it doesn't come off kind of like spoon feeding you information. So
Right.
and also he's saying it as he's doing it. So he's like, look, I'm basically gonna freeze all these shits because usually I send them out
Oh, that's
warm,
right.
so it looks
Yeah.
real.
Okay. Right. Right.
So
Right.
he
Right.
so
I was
he
gonna
tells
say,
Looking Glass like bring it down to 22 degrees exactly, so they're frozen solid. So he says it's like a Gatling gun coming from the heavens. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
he got
yeah,
the
It was
llama.
just
I love how they explain the science behind things because it just makes it that much more intriguing. Like it just makes sense.
Yep.
So, but yeah, but Lady True's mom is the only survivor of that
that
bloodline
group
now,
that
I
was
guess.
there. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
the bloodline. Oh, yeah.
Which is ironic as well.
True definitely has some clones though.
You think?
could be if we ever do get a season 2.
Again, I wouldn't take her to be the one to clone herself because that'd be like Ozymandias cloning himself.
Mm,
Like
I don't know.
in the
She was
just in the
crazier than he
sense
was.
In the podcast, they
she
mentioned
was, but
that.
do you think that she would be like, yeah, let me clone myself and then what if like she I don't know. I feel like the clones could be like eventually like something that could uh that could sorry, my mom just came in the room tried talking to me. That could kind of backfire on her. Like
That's not a bad take. Yeah, because
if
they're
she was like, oh
self-aware.
yeah, like yeah, exactly. If you're self-aware and let's say she's also narcissistic, there could be definite problems right there.
Exactly. Yeah. I
What
But
don't
if they're
think she would
frozen?
want to.
I mean, as of right
well,
now, she is
if she ever were to use them,
dead.
that's my point.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes sense.
But yeah. So Ozymandias again, like we previously said, he saves the day again, and he boasts about it. Obviously, he's like, "Well, there I go again. There goes that man. There goes that man."
And then clink.
And yeah, and then Lori's like, "You're under arrest for killing 3." At the same time, I was like, "Really, Lori? Like, you knew about this shit. You conspired, basically." But like, even Ozymandias himself says it. He's like, "Really? After all these years, like, you were part of this shit too." And then, yeah, like Brian said, fucking Looking Glass, like, this guy talks too much. Fucking just clocked him in the back of the head. But if there ever is to get another season and we see that man locked up again, I'm gonna be
He's
like,
getting out. That's
yeah,
no problem.
exactly.
Yeah, he's getting out.
But just to me, it's just like, damn, like really, Lori. So yeah, if there is a second season, after I was rudely interrupted,
By
um,
yourself.
by
by
technology.
By
by
technology.
by my laptop. If we see, I had mentioned right, Ozymandias in jail, he'll break out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we'll I don't. Oh God, I don't even. I'm done talking about this. I'm really just so
Okay.
upset. I lost my
Alright,
point.
so we'll move on then.
So yeah, Angela runs into the theater, the same theater that
Her
her
grandfather.
grandfather, where the pilot episode started
Yeah.
Yep.
was right there.
He was watching the movie of what's it called? I keep forgetting the names. He had the same last name as him though, Reeves. That's why he based his name off him.
Yeah.
And
I think
he
it was
says
called
that.
Truth in the Law or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then him and Angela have a dope moment. I really love this moment because it
Yeah.
relates back again to what Ozymandias said about people in masks.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just it's all a connective tissue, which I love. And he was basically telling her like people in masks, like that just makes the pain worse. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was dope.
I fuck with what I remember. I think I remember. He says that you don't need a mask, Angela, like to hide the pain. You need a hat.
What?
I
No,
think
he said
Not a
your
hat.
wounds need to like air out or some
Yeah,
shit.
they need
Yeah.
to breathe. You're,
This
Oh, I thought he said you need a hat.
oh,
Yeah, bro. What the fuck?
What the
why would a wound need a hat?
Bro,
Why
I took
a
the subtitles
hat?
off. I took the
Yeah.
subtitles off. My bad.
The subtitles did not say that.
This man is Ed. Yeah, it wasn't a hat, right? It was what Brian said along the lines of, you know, you need to air out your wounds. So
Need a hat.
you need a hat.
No, but that was a really
Wounds
touching
need,
moment,
wounds
though.
need air.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wounds need air.
Because when you wear a mask, it it covers up your wounds.
It suffocates
And
you,
wounds need
and
It's
air.
like
then you
wearing
need
a
a hat,
band-aid. It's like wearing
and
a
you
band-aid.
die.
Yeah,
Wear a hat.
literally.
But
Wear a hat.
wear a hat, duh.
Yeah, next time you get a bruise or something, just put a hat on that shit. It'll be fine.
A little hat. Put a little hat on.
But yeah, I also like how he tells her also like, yo, he knew he was gonna die, like from when he started like planning all this out with me.
Yeah,
And he also mentioned, he was like, he actually said to me, like, to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs. He told me you will know what that means. And she's like, I have no idea what that.
Yeah.
And she was so tired at that point. She's like, I'm tired of his like freaking cryptic like going nowhere like sayings and stuff. Like, I have no idea.
She's
what the fuck you're
she's
talking
like, even in this man's death, he's giving me cryptic shit that I have to like figure out for
about.
myself. And also with that scene, I'm glad they touched on it where he was like, yeah, Manhattan told me to get close with Lady True and do all this stuff, because I'm like, yeah, like he was loyal to, it seemed he was loyal to her and that they were working on things, but it was all him and Manhattan in the first place.
That's really dope because
Yeah.
it kind of,
He
it was like a
did it
twist on a
justice.
twist on a twist, because the first twist was we thought that 7th Cavalry was the main villain,
Yeah.
and then his Lady True, and then Dr. Manhattan and Reeves was actually like working together
Yeah,
behind
but he
all
said
that.
that in the beginning, right? He said he's got friends up there or some
He
shit.
got he has friends in high places, but I think he was referring to Lady True there. He's putting the act on.
Yeah, could be. But
yeah,
nah,
let's get to.
she lets him stay at the crib for a little bit. She's like, all right, grandpa, like he's like, I'm gonna knock for 2 whole days. And I find that funny because I feel if shit like that would have happened to us, we would say the same shit, but like, yo, I am going to sleep for a very long time. Like nobody wake my ass up right now. Because all the shit they just went through. And then she has those flashback moments of, you know, Dr. Manhattan telling her, be careful of like for the eggs. And then she like splits it in half with a karate, the karate knee that she gave the eggs. And as she's cleaning it up, there's that one egg left in the car. And again, it relates back to a bunch of episodes where remember that family Lady True went to and they tripped and she cracked one of the eggs and the smiley face eggs.
Thing.
Yeah.
What the like I'm sorry, the writer Mark. He was saying that he didn't want to keep the watch as a theme for the show.
Yes.
As like the movie. He wanted to use something else, so he used the egg. But he still incorporated the watch because it's hard not to. But yeah, he wanted the egg to be like the whole thing.
And an egg resembles the smiley face a
Yeah.
lot because of the color,
Yep. The
obviously.
yolk. Yeah. The
Yeah.
yolk.
And so she remembers the talk that they had in the bar where he was like, "Yeah, I can transfer my powers, hypothetically
No,
speaking,
yeah,
if
he
we
said
can do this."
theoretically speaking, yeah, if
Yeah.
I could transfer my power to this egg, and if somebody were to ingest it, they. So yeah, I really fuck with that, like how he used the egg very like again very subtle, like gave it to us in what episode 4 or something like that,
Mhm.
and then again it's
Wasn't
something
that
we completely overlook.
wasn't that family also like that late true?
Yeah,
Uh, she went to that family's house, gave them the kid.
yeah,
Wasn't
It was an
weren't
egg
they
farm.
also selling eggs?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh
Fucking
boy.
sick.
So
But yeah,
let's
guys,
get.
let's get to
What
it.
do you
Yeah,
guys think? Do you think that she got the powers? Does it matter?
it's a hell of an Inception ending for sure. Damon Lindelof
Oh yeah,
took a
super
page out of Christopher
Inception.
It's
Nolan.
exact. Yep.
He was like, oh, y'all thought she was gonna walk on water, but I think she
Yeah,
does. I think she does because there was again, it's on purpose. None of this stuff is like for like obviously it's to start a conversation with your friends and all like, yo, what the fuck? Do you think that she walked on water? Do you think not? Like that's what's great about it that you can kind of like interpret it your own way, but the way that Dr. Manhattan went about explaining all of that, I don't think it would be for nothing either.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
that's also why they were all plotting to take away his power because his power can be contained in some kind of manner, and it is just so ironic how they built a whole cage. Lady True spent billions of dollars to do that, and he put his power in an egg.
Yeah.
It's just fucking insane. Like it's
very
something so
true.
fragile. Like it's insane.
I low-key thought she wasn't gonna I thought she was gonna preserve the egg. I didn't think she was
I
gonna
thought she was
actually
gonna
take it.
fucking yeet that shit. Just
That's what I thought. I thought she was gonna fucking just throw it at the floor or something.
a fucking squirrel eats it.
Well now God is a woman, so and she's black, so I know niggas sick about that for sure. For sure.
The white supremacists are clinching
Yeah,
their fists
for
right now.
sure. They stick around to the end. They're like, "Oh, are you
Definitely not,
kidding
but-
me?"
Fucking Arnold's fist.
What I wanted to say, which I loved, was what Will said to her before she took the egg. She's like, he was a good man,
But he could have
could
done
have done
more.
better. He could have done
Yeah.
more with his power.
Considering what he could do,
I was
he
like,
could have done better.
wow. I was like, that is true. That is so true. And you know why as well? That holds a lot of meaning. Just because everything that Will has been through, and not just him, but the African American community as we see it in the show and also in obviously we don't have a Dr. Manhattan in real life, but Will in the show was just like I suffered so much, my people have suffered so much, and this blue god could have done something about all of it. And not just of
Mhm.
that, not just in terms of that, just anything. Just absolutely any bad that's in the world, he could have taken care of, but
He just didn't do enough.
he just didn't do enough. Exactly. And
And-
I'm like, wow.
And it's really cool, like thinking about it like that, because it's like it's also very meta because no matter how good somebody is, there's always somebody that thinks they could do more.
Right.
Like people think that like yeah, like Obama was a great president, but there's also people that are like, oh, he didn't do enough. You know what I'm saying? Like there's always gonna be some
Yeah.
kind
Right.
of
It's like when a celebrity donates $100,000 to a charity and people are like, just 100,000. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. How much did you
How much did-
fucking donate to the
Exactly.
charity?
exactly. You
Exactly.
probably just need to put a hat
There's-
on.
It's funny though, because like it's
hat
you
in
need
it.
to
That's
put
the
a hat
title of
on.
the show, bro.
Yeah,
That's the
put a
title of
hat
the
on.
podcast.
You know,
Put
it's
a
like
hat on.
put some ice on it. Nah, put a hat on it.
Hat on it.
You need a hat, man. You need a hat.
Yeah, I don't know why it's
Just
not getting
got a
any better.
hat.
This
But,
show, this season was spectacular. To be quite honest, I really, really do hope they do not get a second season.
Yep.
And I say that just because the same reason we would say it about Joker. Keep a masterpiece a masterpiece.
Nah,
Don't-
you know what? I don't give a fuck. They could make a second one. If it's ass, the first one is still good. So I don't care.
No.
Wow, no, that's that. I'm actually glad he said that.
That's a
because-
good point. That's true.
Yeah, you know, because
I always want to see where they take it, bro. I always want to see where they
But
could go.
but it will take away from it though,
well, it
Not to me,
depends.
bro. I
It
will always
depends.
if it
because
sucks.
in the sense of that, like, oh, like imagine, would you be tight if Angela didn't have the powers?
Yes.
Boom.
I
Because
would, would
because
I
it would
be
render
tight?
what John said earlier
Exactly.
in the show like useless.
Okay, but Justice League didn't ruin Batman vs Superman
I
for
was
me.
just about to ask Mark that. I'm like, Mark, did Justice League ruin BVS for you?
Yeah, so eat
No,
my
but
ass.
that's different though.
How is it
My ass.
different?
How is that different?
Because it's
That's
a,
different because it left off at a point where it could be or it should be definitely continued. It showed you the Steppenwolf thing. It showed you all this other shit to
Exactly,
let you
like-
know that there are
Okay.
impending things happening. That's
exactly.
so
Okay.
different.
The show
Okay.
didn't
So
really
different.
leave anything
Not
open.
it's not so different, but I
Yes,
see
it
not
the
so
is.
point.
There's no.
different.
There's what's the next big
Yo,
bad?
yo, stop yelling. Stop
What's
yelling.
the what's the
Stop
next
yelling.
big bad?
Stop
Relax.
yelling. Relax.
What's the next big bad?
What?
Who is the
What?
next big bad?
Big bad of what?
no,
of the show-
Watchmen,
of Watchmen.
like he's
No,
saying,
Who's
like
gonna be
the
the
show
enemy?
didn't
Before-
set
before
anything
this-
up.
Man,
Hold
Lube
on.
man.
Lube man, Petey's gonna be wrecking havoc in
They
season
teased
2.
it. They teased it. You
Please,
got your teaser.
please,
That's
please.
unsolved, Mark.
Mark,
That's
Mark, you
unresolved.
sound like everyone who said people said that about the show before the show even came out, and they made a whole
What?
show about it.
Who?
The show is based like years after the whole graphic novel, and he was able to do something. I think he can continue. Is my point. He made it all himself. He thought of it himself.
Damien Lindelof, you're saying?
Yes.
Right, I get that, but what I'm saying is that, like,
You
When
just
it-
said who's
the-
the next
the
big
reason-
bad. That's all.
who
I'm
is the
saying.
next big bad?
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. He can make something up, bro.
he can. Okay, I get that, but the thing is, Sister Knight. He literally said it himself in the podcast. Sister Knight is done with the mask, so she's not going to be doing it. So she won't be the main character, probably.
I mean,
she's
she's
probably-
probably Dr. Manhattan. Now,
Well, right.
so-
If she's Dr. Manhattan, now, then
Assuming,
what's the-
assuming
That's
if
so-
she is
Right,
Doctor,
But that's Brian's point. He's saying Lindelof can create another story based on what happened with her taking the egg.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
also, but the thing, I can see both sides of it, like how it could be good and how it could be kind of whack. Because, okay, she's a god now, but she's gonna be like low key using her powers, like I guess.
No, I get it. Like I said, I don't want another season because let's just leave it as is. But
I'm just like curious, you know, like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said,
Oh,
no matter what,
definitely.
it will never affect how I perceive the first season. Just
Yeah,
like Game of
because-
Thrones. Game of
Exactly.
Thrones finale was whack, but the whole experience from the start
I mean, that's
to a
fine.
certain
That's
point
fine
never
too.
changed for me.
Yo,
Fuck your mom.
Ariel, I knew it. Ariel started mumbling. He's like, it's fine. It's cool. No, it's cool. Like, you didn't
No,
like
but
it.
Brian,
Okay.
to even
Bye.
add to that, let's say Christopher Nolan 10 years from now comes like Inception 2. No, for what?
Because I want to know if that fucking thing would stop spinning or not.
No, he said that it like he did that on purpose so people could talk, but it was not gonna keep spinning because he never got. See, this is not an Inception podcast. I'm not gonna get into this. but
Hashtag release the Snyder Cut.
yeah, but I do agree with you, Junior. This season was awesome. Like this was honestly probably it was a very well thought out, well put together. There was no filler. There was not an episode that was like, this was whack. Like it was lit the whole way through.
Yeah.
I
Agreed.
cannot wait to rewatch this shit in like either a couple months or a year. I'll give it a year and I'll rewatch it.
I can't
Hell
wait when
yeah.
HBO Max comes out and I could watch this and then watch the Snyder Cut and then watch that again. It's gonna be lit.
I can't wait.
Hell yeah.
But yo, but just so I don't know. Again, today I sent y'all, but whether it's true or not, Entertainment Weekly has said this that the actors already signed off on a season 2.
What?
There wasn't much information on it. Yeah. But what I was telling Mark is I think like obviously I don't have a single clue how contracts and shit work in Hollywood, but what I'm guessing is if there were to be a season 2, like they're like, yo, we with it if it happens. But if it don't happen, then it don't happen. But what Mark was saying, which he obviously he has a point on, is if they're signing off on this, that means HBO got some sort of plan for it. But what we also discuss is if it's not Lindelof, it ain't gonna be the same. So
Yeah.
and Lindelof said on the podcast, like, hey, if I have another idea, I'll be more than happy to share it with everyone. And I said in the chat too, how crazy would this be? Like a Superman movie directed by Zack Snyder, written by Lindelof.
Ooh.
That shit would be
That would
flames.
slap. That will also make a lot of racists mad, probably.
They'll be like, what? Why
Nah,
are they
but-
treating Superman like an immigrant? Nah, he's a full-blooded American.
Nah, but what I do, what if the next season is a completely different, like obviously it's gonna be different, but what if it's more like an anthology where it's just like an alternate version of the story, like what he did with the original graphic novel, like with the source material? What if he just like, all right, everything ended in that season, right? Now, what if he gives us an alternate reality where Ozymandias was still on Earth? And I don't know. I'm just like, throwing,
Yeah,
you know.
dude, like he gave us this, Lindelof gave us this, and it whatever. So basically, I'm saying this: I trust him. I trust
Yeah.
him that to the point where if season 2 is announced and he's in it, I'm like, okay, like whatever he has planned, I'm trusting it.
If it's not him, I'm logging off.
Nah, fam, just put a hat on.
So
Yeah, just put a hat on.
there you go. That's it. Mic drop. Just put a hat on.
All right, y'all. So,
Alright,
anything else?
Nah, man, I'm good on this end. I just again want to thank all of our listeners. We really appreciate
Yeah.
y'all.
Actually, we should shout out. I got a shout out request.
Oh,
From
word.
Spiff_P.
All right,
Hey.
change it. Well, what's up, man?
He he likes the podcast, and we actually inspired him to start one with his friends.
Oh, that's lit.
So
That's
dope.
fucking lit.
That's
I'm gonna give him a
crazy,
round of
so-
applause.
yeah,
That's fucking lit. Always,
shout out to him.
Tell him
Always
whenever
do
they
what you love,
start, just
guys.
Send it our way.
I did. I commented back to him. I was like, hey, like, it means a lot. We wish you well, and let us know when you guys start it up. We'll listen to it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Always,
I think
always do
he-
what you love, guys.
He might be from
Yeah.
Hackensack because he said shout out the admin that's from Hackensack, New Jersey.
who is in Hackensack? Because one of the podcasts you said Hackensack. I think it was the last one I was on.
No,
Or
the
the
last
one
one
before
you were
that.
on, it was
Camden.
Camden, yeah.
It was
Camden.
that before that.
Shout
Yeah.
out to
So the one
Camden.
before that.
Shout out to Camden.
we need a podcast just talking about Jersey, cities in Jersey. All right.
God.
So
But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
guys,
y'all, tune in. We got more content coming, a lot of content coming.
yes.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have look forward to our Rise of Skywalker podcast coming soon. Along
Yes,
with
sir.
like since Watchmen is over, we got to talk about Mandalorian, whether it's 30 seconds like I did today or
Oh yeah, I gotta go.
Yo, don't forget your hat, my guy.
Dang, holy shit.
but
Now I'll appreciate it more now that Watchmen's over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, Fridays will come. I'll watch this shit. I'll be like, is it Sunday yet? Is
Or-
it Sunday yet?
Word, yo.
but yeah, and just look forward to our the Star Wars podcast and then our end of year wrap up that we're gonna do again for you guys. And yeah, that's it.
Yes, sir.
See ya.